So a couple of things that you're going to want to do when you're looking to start farming, when you identify the neighborhood that you're looking at, you're also going to want to identify, does anyone have the majority of a market share in there? Does anyone have more than 30% of the market share? So I'm going to start with the Braun Heights, Braun Oaks, just for time's sake, because they are closer together. The most important would be to probably look first and just start and see how many have actually sold in the last, so I'm going to click sold and pending, okay? And then I'm going to go to the little subdivision here, click on the magnifying glass. And we'll start with Braun Heights. And let's look at the last 12 months, okay? Am I going too fast? Okay. I always do the count first. So we've got 19 solds in the last year. Let's do all off markets. That's going to include canceled, expired, withdrawals, you name it. There's 33, okay? I'm going to reduce that back down to just sold and pending. Next, I'm going to pull up, so I went to open a new workspace. I'm going to go back to search. I'm going to pull up the second subdivision also, which was Braun Oaks. We'll kind of compare them. So there will be places where you can go, like First American has myfirstam.com, where you can pull up whole neighborhoods. You can see how many homes are in the community. So it's important to determine how many homes are in the actual community. So you can see what percentage is selling year over year. And then out of that, let's put 12 months. So we're comparing apples to apples. So we got sold pending, Braun Oaks, 12 months. Let's redo our count. There's 35 that have sold. So clearly Braun Oaks has a lot more turnover, or at least they did for the last year. Now the way we can bump this up to 24 months and see what the last 2 years did. That gives us 63. Let's jump over to Braun Heights here. Go up to 24 months, and that gives us 34. Right, from 19 to 34. So literally, Braun Oaks is going to offer double the turnover year over year for the last 24 months for the maximum exposure. So let's reduce that back down. So I would say, how many houses is that? Is it double the houses? Is it triple the houses? Or is it the same amount? And you'll find that by going to a place like My First AM or Coal Directory, looking up and figuring out, you could call the HOA. There's a lot of different ways. I like to use our title company's resources because they do have, you can map it out, you can put it in Excel, it comes with a map, so it helps you door knock and farm also. And then you also can see who has the mailing address as the physical address and whose mailing address is a different address. And that's going to tune you into which ones are probably rental homes or investment properties. So just for the purposes of let's make the most money possible, right? Let's look at Braun Oaks. Go back to 12 months. That's 135 units. So.
And that's just sold and pending, right? You said?
Yes. I would probably customize my report over here to figure out a way to, let's see. I know this is kind of going up a little bit, but it's going to be helpful. So we're going to make a custom report. Let's just go farming.
Explain what you're doing.
So I went to custom reports.
You added listing agent's name.
I want a report that's going to have the listing agent name. I want the total days on market. I want the address. Because I want to see who has market share, right? I don't care about photos. This is almost going to be like a CMA summary. It's going to be in your drop-down reports once you add it. Let me see days.
All right, you put.
Slow down just a little bit. What are you doing?
Go back and recap what you added over there.
Okay, I'm taking out the things I don't need. Actually, I'll probably put that one back. I took out some things that aren't going to be important. Let me just start over. We're gonna go to add new report.
here?
We're gonna name it farming. And then we are going to, we'll take out taxes, we don't care about that. We'll take out photos. We'll take out class. And then we'll take out the area. We want the street name and number, zip code's fine. We need to add in the list agent. And really that's what we're gonna be filtering through is the list agent. Days on market would be great. Here we go, days on market. And we're gonna save that. So now, I'm gonna go from one line summary in the drop down screen, under custom reports. It may make me refresh it. Let me try that. Do y'all see it? Is it because it logged me into someone else? Yep. Sorry, it's like signing as two different people. Sorry, if I was in my MLS, it'd be a little bit easier.
You can log out and log into yours if you want.
I don't have this saved, I just thought of it, because we really just wanna filter by listing agent.
Why is that?
Because we wanna see who has market share, who are we competing with? Is there one
Okay.
agent that has a lot of this
Oh,
area?
yeah, that's right.
Or is there, is it free, open game for anything?
Oh, okay, to check out that specific type.
I mean, it's always free game, it's just
Yeah.
how big,
Yeah,
how
yeah,
fierce
how
is your
big-
competition?
Yeah, okay, gotcha.
Are you gonna just grab your unfair share, or are you gonna really start working hard and investing in it?
Got it.
Oh lordy.
It's not allowing you to see the
Okay.
listing agent, is it?
No, the saved.
It's, you know, mine's not either.
You wouldn't be selling agent?
Yay, farm.
There we go.
Okay, so let's just sort by, out of the 35, sorry about that delay, 35 list agents, we'll put them in agent order. So put them in list agent order, I would imagine if there is, okay, yeah, see how there's duplicates like 2 Dayton Traders here? They'll put them in order and they'll lump them together. When you sort by list agent, they lump them together so you can see. So only one agent had 2 of the 35 listings that are sold and pending the last 12 months. So no one has 30% more or more market share. So that's good news. Everyone else only has 1 each. So there's literally 33 agents, list agents in Braun Oaks in the last 12 months. Does that make sense? Okay, so that I would say that that's a good neighborhood
free
to
game.
farm. So what other questions, is this helpful?
Why does that matter? Why don't you just work it anyway?
It's gonna determine what your efforts need to be. And
You
so,
don't wanna blanket
and
the whole neighbor or area?
It just seems like if another agent's
So,
already done it, or
you
is
wanna,
working it,
you
right?
really wanna calculate out, and there's a formula that my maps coach gave me, we did it about a year and a half ago, so I apologize, I don't remember the formula, but you want a certain percentage of turnover compared to the overall units, and then a certain percentage or less of market share per top agent that dominates that area to make sure it's a good option. And then you also want to look at days on market. What's your average days on market? Are they getting the money that they should? What's the sales ratio? So there's a lot of things to look at there. But definitely this would be the key to just making sure you're picking it. Like I looked at Preserve at Indian Springs 2 years ago. The number of houses compared to how long they sit on the market, compared to how many agents have market share, it wasn't a worthy investment at that time to jump in unless I was really willing to put in the money for 12 to 24 months to take it over. So I jumped into other neighborhoods that had a lot less homes and a lot better turnover and they got their days on market were much lower and they got 98 to 105% of asking price. Those are the neighborhoods I targeted. Less homes, more turnover, less market share per agent. Does that make sense? Okay.
Okay, so based on this information, would you show us how to find on the MLS the average price per square foot on these homes sold?
Yeah, absolutely. So you just go back to right here and you just go to CMA summary. And so this is the last 12 months. Let me refine this down to like 3 to 6 months. I always start at 3 months and then work my way up because the last 3 months is going to say what is our current market doing? Where are we at now? So your solds here, there's 11 and 14 are actually sold in the last few months. So your low is $89.43 a square foot. Your high is $144.56 a square foot. Your average is $112.52 a square foot. Now keep in mind, if any of you have ever been to an appraisal class, you're going to know that the cost approach to value when it comes to appraised value, which will be the fair market value that they will authorize the home to sell, and that's only 30% of the total value of the home. So it's a good rule of thumb, it's a good guideline to look at price per square foot, but that is truly just 30% of the total value of that home. You have to look at what is the highest sold price, how many bedrooms, how many car garages, what are all the other factors an appraiser is going to look at. And so you could have a lower price per square foot, but you could still be like one of the highest sold prices in the neighborhood, and that would be a red flag for an appraiser if it didn't justify it on paper. Or you could have, lower price per square foot and still be overpriced in other ways. So it's a good guideline, and then you can see here average days on market versus low and high. And when you see the highest price and the highest price per square foot, they're usually not the same house. Typically the smallest footprint, the smallest floor plan in the neighborhood will have the highest price per square foot, and it goes down the larger the home gets.
And you said that the price per square foot is only 30% of
The cost approach to the appraised value of a home. And so you can see this is where we're at. This line right here is price per square foot on all of our sold. But what really is the indicator where the market's at now is the pendings. You can see the average went up by $6 a square foot. The high went down a little bit actually, but the low went up from $89.43 a square foot. It went up to $115.63 a square foot, all in the last 3 to 6 months from the sold to the pendings. Do what?
Could it be multiple offers, bidding wars?
Absolutely. I always just tell people the market dictates what a home value is worth. We're here to interpret that, and this is what the market's telling us. And so it's looking good. It's looking strong for this area. And you can see 40, 18, and 74 days on the market. So they're also reducing days on market right now for this neighborhood. Does that make sense? So those are the things that you want to look at, and that gives you the knowledge of when you're going out door knocking, and you're adding value when you're going out. Does that make sense? So not only do you need to know what's going on in this neighborhood, you need to know what would their motivation be to sell. What schools are in the area? Are they top-rated schools? Like, will they be drawn to keep their kids in the same schools, or do they only care about the elementary school and not the middle school or high school? What are the move up and the move down communities closest to this neighborhood? If they wanted to go from a 2-story and downsize to a 1-story, or they need a master downstairs, is that going to be available in this same neighborhood? Or is that only going to be available if they go outside this neighborhood? So what I would go back and look at, this is an older community, and I didn't click on it, but just knowing Braun, you got older houses mixed with some newer houses. You also have a lot of one-car garages mixed in with two-car garages. So these are neighborhoods you have to specifically say, if you were to move, would it be important? I see you have a two-car garage. Not all the homes keep that. So would that be important to you? And then you can add the field here of master bedroom and just know, like, okay, well, if you are door knocking a two-story and they're like, oh my goodness, we just can't have a two-story. I know a lot of the two-story homes have the master up. Is yours the same way? Would you consider a master down, or do you truly need a one-story home? And that's where you can go and pull the last 12 months, 12 or 24 months, and see, are there even any masters down coming open in this neighborhood? So 42 houses in the last 24 months sold or pending in Braun Oaks with a master down. So that tells you that there is quite a bit of availability for that in the community. Do you have any questions so far? Sorry, I talk fast. Y'all can just slow me down and butt in and ask questions.
Ask away.
So, yep. So for me, I door knock and I farm in Encino Park. That's where I live. I have my investment property there. I just wanted to dominate my neighborhood, and I never sold a home in my neighborhood. And the first time I took Gold with John Prescott, he gave us some of his personal ways of door knocking and taking the step back and the things to say. And I found a renter who I'd met once or twice, and I went ahead and turned her into a buyer. Door knocked until I found the house I wanted in that neighborhood, because I realized none of the surrounding neighborhoods offered what they wanted. They wanted the floor plan they were renting, but with upgrades. And we were able to find it through door knocking, and we were able to get them in that home before it hit the market, negotiate a price in lieu of painting and carpet, and get them the house they wanted, full of upgrades, the same floor plan. And then we had, within 18 months, I believe we had 13 closed transactions within the gated community. It only has about 155 homes. And it all, I think I've only door knocked, honestly, and it sounds horrible because you know I love it, but I think 3 hours total. Like 3 times about an hour of door knocking, and each time resulted in at least one transaction that trickled. And then we have multiple people. If we find that perfect house, they're ready to list and buy the next house. So it's little efforts like that, adding in, like if you're farming where you live and you know it's a good market for you to farm. Well, we brought in a photographer, and I paid her to do little mini photo fall sessions at the park. We sponsor Halloween night. I don't know if this is too off topic for you.
It's okay.
So we did, hey, I made a Facebook page for my neighborhood. So we do like fall arts and crafts for the kids. Like I started being very purposeful and saying like real estate team is sponsoring it. We have our tablecloths now, and I'll maybe sponsor a couple of things, like a couple of the crafts, and like one mom makes tutus, so she brought all that. Another mom brought everything to carve pumpkins, and we told each kid to bring a pumpkin to carve. So you keep the expense down by involving the community and just bringing in a key piece of it. If any of you guys work with Gold Financial, Billy Neal's really big on doing the food drive bags. Door knocking, giving them the bag. The San Antonio Food Bank will give you the bags, and you hand them out when you're door knocking and ask them to bring it back filled up to your open house while you're inviting them personally to come to your open house and give back to the community all at the same time. There's just a lot of different ways. It's like I love to throw parties, and I work a whole lot, so I have to like incorporate my fun into work. So I do a lot of the parties with my neighborhood. We'll do popsicles at the pool on a summer day. You know, just we have a big outdoor movie screen, so they know the weekend of Halloween that we'll have a Halloween movie playing outside, like in the driveway or in the backyard for all the kids to come by, and popcorn. So just different, but everything's branded, and I branded that it's my real estate team donating that to the community.
Do you do all your own printing, or do you get that from like
Honestly,
title companies, or do you?
No, most of
resource?
it's Facebook.
Is that right?
Really, just little picture collages. We have Photoshop, so it's just quick and easy for our admins to pop it in there. A few times we printed something at Office Max bigger, and we used to pay for Office Max to like laminate everything or do the party backboard, but now we've got the 11 by 17 paper, so sometimes we'll just print it in 2 pieces, and you go to the Dollar Tree, and those thick cardboard poster boards are $1. They come in white and black, so we just do our self-adhesive on there now, and it costs like $2 to print a huge banner that you can just hole punch and put zip ties like on a gate, or put a sign up somewhere. And we got like the 11 by 17 on Amazon, like the hard plastic clear that kind of sits up on an A-line and sits on your tabletop. So we just pop in whatever we're doing that week
Very good.
for whatever activity.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So when you door knock, and what do you take with you? Because here it says like a flyer. And where do you get that? Like, how do you pick what you want to give to them? And
When I first started, I didn't have much, and I didn't have a lot of money to do that stuff, and I had like business card with my picture on it, which I didn't even have the first 3 years of being in real estate. So I would just take my card and, like they say, like take a step back, like knock, 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 and you could do a little survey or just introduce yourself as the neighborhood expert. Just want to get to know the community better. We added a lot of value. Like my neighborhood has a lot of stay-at-home mommies and working moms too, but the Facebook page was a thing of value. So my little flyer said, if you'd like to join our neighborhood Facebook page we've created, please text or call me or email me.
So
And-
you had a flyer when you door knocked.
Mhm.
That's okay.
Yeah. And sometimes it was just simply door knocking. We've done just wanted flyers, like with a reward, like a TJ Maxx Home Goods gift card or a drawing, like just wanted, you know, we have clients looking to live in this neighborhood specifically. Please help us. Who do you know looking to sell? And I always just say, many times neighbors know before anyone else who's talked about selling. Have you heard of any of our neighbors selling? Because we've been really successful in the past. We promise our clients we are going to get them the house they want in the neighborhood they want. And there's nothing on the market right now. Who has mentioned to you that you might know or have heard of that's possibly considered moving in the near future? Would you consider if you could get top dollar for your home? We're getting clients top dollar. These clients are willing to pay market price and above right now. Would you consider selling your home in this market? And just ask, thank you so much for your time. If you think of anybody, would you please call me first? Here's my direct number on my card. Do me a favor and call me when you hear if you hear of anybody at all. Because we always have active buyers for this area, but this one specifically, and sometimes it's a flyer with 3, like we have one that needs a 2-story, one absolutely has to have a 1-story, and one that needs a swimming pool. So we'll put like all 3 of them. But just doing that and feel like, well, what's the market like? Well, it's great. And I print out the CMA summary. I would narrow it down to 1 month and see what that does from 24. And I would go ahead and add all the active fields in, active, sold, and pendings. And I have an assistant that's really handy in Photoshop, so he copies and pastes this and plops it into Photoshop and puts my name and information at the bottom. But it's like, I always say, like, if they ask how the market's actually amazing. Let me just tell you, right now, the last few homes, the price point per square foot has gone up, you know, and the days on market's going down. So even though we're going into what a lot of people call the slower season, in my book, in real estate, I'm a professional here, and there is no slow season. So we're here to work year round, and especially around the holidays, lots of people are flying in when they're off work, and they're taking advantage of the time their kids are out of school to pick their new home. So if you consider moving, where would you move to? So you give them a little 5-second elevator speech about how great it is when they ask how the market is. And if you were to move, where would you move to? Just kind of coming from curiosity. And like I had that happen for one of our clients. And they're like, oh, well, we really need a pool. I'm like, oh my goodness, because remember I was door knocking. I'd seen everything in all 7 communities all around the week before. My clients wanted this neighborhood. It's like, there was a great house over in Pinion Creek that has a pool. He's like, you've seen it? I was like, have you? He said, no. I've been watching it online. How is it? Like, the lot's amazing. The house is a really solid, like, nice 4-bedroom floor plan. Every bedroom has a bathroom. I think you can get it for a good price because it does need all the updates inside. So I knew off the top of my head that house, and that was instant rapport with him. And he's like a loyal client referral partner for life now, and that's been 2.5 years.
That's awesome.
Just from me door knocking and knowing what was going on in the surrounding neighborhoods and seeing like maybe the 10 houses on the market. And that took me, if I didn't have clients, it would only take me about 25 minutes, 30 minutes to see those 10 houses. So I highly suggest doing that first. Doing okay? I hope I'm not overwhelming you. I love my job.
Great questions. Anybody else?
That's terrific.
These are just scripts for them to practice.